Namaskaram, everybody. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Sorry, I got carried away preparing for the lecture. Keep, there is no limit for preparation. I think I'm very, um, like, ill-equipped with knowledge of Sanskrit, knowledge of Vedanta, knowledge of so many things. So I mess up so many times. I need a lot of clarification before I can talk to you. Because when I talk, it will all be recorded. So I have to be very careful about what I say and I have to verify it so many times. That's why it took longer. Everybody is okay? Do you hear me?
Yes, they're
Yes.
all fine. Atiza.
All good.
Okay, let me share the lecture 1 second. Can you see my lecture 45 screen?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, very good. See, last time what we did was Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Jatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. This is 6th chapter 29, Shloka 630, 631 and 632. So we explained this and this is known as Sāmya-yoga or similarity among jīvātmas and Paramātma. And here the focus is jīvātma only and that we finished. So now we come back to the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad, which says the verse number 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tatona vigupsate. So the simple meaning of this is Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati. Here Atma means Paramātma. When a yogi or an aspirant sees all beings in Paramātma or God or Īśvara, Anupashyati, he sees. That means this is not just studies. It is not just studying about a text or something like that. He sees, he realizes. Sarvabhuteshu chatmanam. And all beings are in Atma or that Īśvara. Tatona vigupsate. He does not feel bad. He does not get disgusted with anything because everything is resting on God, resting on Īśvara, and also everything contains Īśvara because Īśvara is Antaryami. This is the idea, right? And this Sāmya-yoga we mentioned, and that is explained in the 633. When you say the Sāmya-yoga, what is the Sāmya-yoga? So obviously in the Gītā, yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatva sthitim stiram. This is Arjuna's question to Krishna. And Krishna clarifies what is the level of the Sāmya-yoga. What does Sāmya-yoga mean? And Krishna says, eventually, the person, yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana, among all the yogis, who sees me as the highest. And self is not equal to it. Self is below it. And who realizes Paramatma as the highest. That he is the highest of the yogis. That is what Krishna says. That we need to keep in mind. And that is the same thing in the Kaṭha Upaniṣad. Tam durdarsham gudham anupravishtam guhahitam gahvareshtam puranam Adhyātma-yoga adhigamena devam matva harshashokau jahati. This is the verse 12 of 1.2.12, I think. That is of Kaṭha Upaniṣad. Here the focus is on Paramātma. So what happens is in this Kaṭha Upaniṣad and also in the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad 6th verse, already the meditation has got transformed into meditation on Īśvara, Paramatma only. and that is referred to as the word Atma in this. Prior to that, a person should have already gone through Sāmya-yoga, which is what Arjuna is talking about in the 6th chapter. That involves 4 stages, and we mentioned it in the 4 verses of the first slide. And these are all in the 6th chapter. These are all jīvātma focused yogas, and he has to get out of it and go beyond it to have Paramātma as the focus, and that is described in the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad 6 and further, and also Kaṭha Upaniṣad. Here, Adhyātma-yoga adhigamena devam matva harsha shokau jahati. Here, Adhyātma-yoga adhigama means what do you call? After finishing Adhyātma-yoga, which is the realization of jīvātma, self, then you can know devam matva, the divine deva or Paramātma is understood only later. Then what do you call, elation and sorrow, everything is gone. Harsha shokau jahati. You will become blissful. So after succeeding in the Adhyātma-yoga, one proceeds to know God, matva, forsakes happiness and misery. Here, the word matva is just knowing God, right? What does knowing God mean? Just like textbook? No, I know God. Something like textbook God? No. This is actually, it is realization. Matva is realization. I wanted to check my grandfather's understanding of this, right? That is, I have to always verify. This is a problem. You just don't take anybody's words for it directly, right? You have to figure out, study and understand if somebody has written similar to this, or what do other people write about it. I do a lot of analysis before saying something, as much as possible to my limited capability, right? So here, I took the Rāmānuja bhashya on the same verse on the Kaṭha Upaniṣads, Rāmānuja bhashya. Here he says, this is tam durdarsham. Durdarsham means shravanayapi bhavabirnarabhyaha ityuktaritya drashtum ashakyam. Durdarsham means this God is difficult to see. Where is this God? Oh, no, I saw. Today is Krishna Janmashtami. I had gone to the temple and I had the divine vision of Krishna. Is it possible? Some people, only if a person is at the level of Alvars or Nayanmars, they can see direct God from in a physical location. Otherwise, it's drashtum ashakyam. This has to be very clearly understood. Since God exists everywhere, why do you have to go to temple? You can see God right here, right? God is all pervading. If God is all pervading, you can see the God inside the cell phone, inside the computer, here, everywhere. But tam drashtum ashakyam, that person is difficult to see. Gudham tirodhayaka karma rupa vidyati rohitam tirohitam. That means there are coverings for us, because we are covered by so many Avidyā. In fact, one yogi person says, it is like we are covered by 24 layers. Jivat, you are covered by 24 layers. Why? This is Prithvi. See, there are 24 elements in Prithvi, right? Prithvi, Ap, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, the five Panchabhutas, Panchendriyas, and different things, as you know, Ahankara, Manas, Indriyas, 11 Indriyas, all these things are coverings. In fact, one yogi very clearly mentions, suppose I have a covering, right? And I cannot see through, right? Look at, you put the carom board pawns, right? You know this carom board pawns. They're like circular, cylindrical elements, like made of wood. You put one over the other, stack it up. If there is a hole drilled through the whole of the 24 layers, then you can see through the hole and what is there beyond the 24 elements. right? And if you change the position, the holes may not line up and you cannot see. So what happens is we have so many coverings of avidya. Guhahitam, that Paramātma is sitting right in your heart, but he still not be visible. Gahvareshtam, Antaryami, he is sitting as Antaryami. Puranam means he is always there, forever. Very old guy. Adhyātma-yoga adigamena vishayebhyah pratisamhritya chetasaha atmani samavadhanam Adhyātma-yoga. So the thing is focusing on Atman by taking away your mind and focus from external objects and focusing on Paramātma. Yat ched vāngmanasya prajñah yada panchavatiṣṭhante jnānāni manasā. These are all explanations given in the Kaṭha Upaniṣad. Coming back here, tena yoyam adhigamaha jīvātma jnānam. Adhyātma-yoga means jīvātma jnāna. Only by knowing the jīvātma very well by realization. Devam Paramātmanam matva. Only then you can see Paramātma. Jīvātma jnānasya Paramātma jnāna hetutvad iti bhavaham. So the thing is, without knowing jīvātma, Paramātma is not easily visible. He is on the 26th layer. 25 is the jīvātma layer. 24 layers are the Prithvi layers or the material layers. So he is beyond the 25th layer. Only by knowing jīvātma you can know the Paramātma. That's what is said in the Ramanuja Bhashya of Kaṭha Upaniṣad. My grandfather obviously has borrowed information from here. So only thing, what do you get out of my grandfather's book is he picks up right information from different great acharyas and puts them in a package which is easily understandable for us. That's all. Any doubts so far? Everything okay? Are you understanding? Everything is not, it's not difficult, right?
It's okay for me. I'm clear.
Clear. Everybody else okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let's go. Matva is clearly to know. That is knowing through meditation and upasana, not just knowing by reading a book, right? So the first course of the Adhyātma-yoga is identity of all the selves. Here, my grandfather brings in a concept which is in the Shrutis. Some people do Upāsanā on Rudra, Īśvara, as synthetic jiva or samashti jiva, and meditating on his form and surrendering to him leads to realization of the equality of all. This is also there in the Puranas. What does this mean? Some people say, what do you call, Rudra can be taken and worshipped, and then still you can get a realization of equality. That is, the Sāmya-yoga can be obtained by focusing on Rudra. It is there in the Shastras. What does it really mean? This needs to be understood. My grandfather wrote it. Some of the stuff he writes with putting something else into his mind and all those things. It's a little difficult to understand. But now I did some research. That's why I had to study this, right? He mentions a second thing. In the Sri Vaishnavism, the first stage of Adhyātma-yoga is identified by the Acharya Upāsanā. So worship of a spiritual teacher itself is taken in Sri Vaishnavism as the first stage of Adhyātma-yoga. So different systems follow different ways to get there, right? And Venkatanatha, that is Vedānta Deshika, in Paduka Sahasram says, for a Sri Vaishnava, one can directly do the worship of the sandals of masters, that is Acharya Paduka or Paduka of Srimad Narayana. You can worship, and that itself can give you the Sāmya-yoga, right? And then you go to the second process of, so Sāmya-yoga is 4 stages, as you mentioned. You remember back in the first lecture, we had 4 shlokas, 6, 29, 30, 31, 32. The first is equivalent to the first verse. People can do Upadika Upasana or Rudra Upasana or Sri Vaishnava spiritual Acharya Upasana. There are different methods there. And then you identify God with flawlessness. My grandfather read flawlessness. What does it mean? If you look at the Ramanuja Bhashya on 6.30, the same 4 verses, right? The second verse, he says, Vidhuta punya papasya swarupena avasthitasya mat samyam pashyan. So when that is, if the jīvātma is the punya and papas are shaken away or taken away from jīvātma, the jīvātma becomes pure. And that purity is similar to the purity of Paramātma. Or looking at the similarity of purity, he can go further. So that is the second process where it goes towards the Sāmya-yoga. Third and fourth courses described in 36.31 and 6.32 are advancements in the first 2 standard courses. So the 4 levels are explained in the 6th chapter. That is same as Adhyātma-yoga. Now let's go further. So the 6th verse talks about the synthetic yoga. Okay. And then what does it mean? Knowing jīvātma is said earlier. And the synthetic form, the synthetic way of doing it is, you can do it in 3 different ways. Paramātma can be meditated in 3 different ways. Here, jīvātma sakshatkara, to a level, one person has already achieved jīvātma sakshatkara through Sāmya-yoga, through similarity. The 4 stages are over. But you have to understand the Paramātma. How do you realize Paramātma? Is the Paramātma can be realized through 3 different Upāsanā kramas. The celestial form is directly Paramātma Upāsanā, who is there Antaryami, like Vishwantaryami. That means he is inside everything in this universe. And such a God, such a Paramātma can be also meditated upon. And that is not easy to do such a meditation, because that person has to be very realized to understand he is the Vishwantaryami, or he is inside everything around us, everything everywhere. How do you realize that? That is a very difficult meditation. Similarly, he can be meditated as a qualified form. Qualified form means as the Antaryami, or the Antaryami of Brahma or Rudra or an Acharya. So he is inside a Brahma or a Rudra or an Acharya. So the thing is, or any Jiva, in fact, that is known as a Chit Shariraka Paramātma Upāsanā. Chit is the medium. Chit is Jīvātma. A jīvātma shariraka Paramātma Upāsanā you can do, right? Or you can do cosmic form, that is imperishable Akshara, which is Acit shariraka. Acit shariraka is matter. So he is inside any matter. It could be a stone, it could be anything. And you meditate on God who is inside a physical entity which is perceptible. See, imperishable is very difficult to directly know. So you have to go through a perceptible form. Just as a side note, think about it. In Islam, what they do not use any medium in Islam. That is why they go and break up temples, destroy temples and all those things, because there should be no medium. What our Vaidika system says is, you need a medium. You cannot go and directly realize the Amrita Swarupa or the Vishwantaryami Swarupa. It is not possible that easily. Okay, so these 3 methods are the standard methods to understand and realize God, realize Paramātma, Hari, Krishna. And that is what in the 7th chapter, the explanation of that is very clearly mentioned, right? It starts with Sri Bhagavan Vacha, 7th chapter. Maya asakta manah partha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha jñāsyasi tachrunu. So he says, absorbed in me, with support of me, using my support, see how you know me without any reminder. With completely you can know me with my support and focusing on me. That's what Krishna says. And seventh and further chapters are explaining the later issues, right? The later details. Now, here, my grandfather mentions this in his textbook. And the verse he mentions is the 32nd verse of the jīvāsara of the Tattvamukta Kalapa. Vedanta Deshika summarizes all these three forms of worship. It says, Vishwantaryamitvam, Swayamiha Chedachit Vigrahairva Vishishtam. So Chit Vigraha or Acit Vigraha. So Chit Shariraka as through the jīvātma, any Chit means jīvātma, and it could be anybody, right? Chit Sharira or Acit Sharira through matter. That is assuming, understanding that Brahman is inside matter as Antaryami. Brahman is inside any jīvātma as Antaryami. Va Vishishtam Yasyalambanam sa bhavavayashamani vitaragasya vidya. Yasyalambanam, if you focus on Paramātma, that will take care of you. Bhavavayashamani, the fear of existence in the samsara, which is very temporary and sorrow-giving, all this fear will go away. Vitaragasya vidya. That means a person who does not have any other desire. And this is the right vidya. But what happens is, on the other hand, if somebody has desires, what kind of desires can he have? In the Bhagavad Gītā, those desires are explained, right? The desires are Aishvaryarti, Kaivalyarti, Paramātma only desire. So the Aishvarya Kaivalya will be the other desires. That is to become alone, aloof from matter, Kaivalya. Aishvarya means to become as powerful, like I can also create like Chaturmukha Brahma. I can have all the powers I need. Like the Hiranyakashipu and all these Rakshas are trying to have it, right? So Aishvaryarti, those people will not get moksha. So people who go after Aishvarya are the powers, or Kaivalya are isolation, they don't get moksha. That's what the second part of the verse is telling you. Now, so the first three forms of worship, which was said here as celestial for Amū-rūpa or Antaryami Swarupa, or the Chit-sharirika Paramātma, or the Acit-sharirika Paramātma, these three methods are okay. They are known as apratik Upāsanā. They are direct meditation on God Himself, Paramātma Himself. And that will lead to moksha. The concept of divinity, of who that person is, who am I meditating on, what is the nature of that meditating person, the person to be meditated upon, that has to be derived from a single source, Vedas. You should not go to any other text. That is clearly mentioned only in the Vedas. Vedas, how do you know all these things come, right? See, the thing is, in the Vedas, there is a in the Brahma Sutras, this comes up, right? I will come back to the previous slide a little bit, but now I just want to explain to you why these issues come. See, there are number of Vaidikas, right? Even Mīmāṃsā is a Vaidika. Mīmāṃsā people believe in the Vedas very firmly. Saṅkhyas are also Vaidikas. Nyāya Vaisheshika are also Vaidikas. There are different Veda believers. In the Hindu system, there are several Veda believers. Nyaya people also believed in the Vedas. Sankhya people and Mīmāṃsā, they believed in the Vedas. So that is why in the very first part of Brahma Sutras, the theory of Mīmāṃsakas are refuted by our acharyas like Śaṅkarācārya, Rāmānujācārya, Madhvacārya. All these acharyas refute the views of Mīmāṃsakas. Okay? Shastra Yonitvad means Vedas can tell you what Brahman is. You have to figure out nature of Brahman through Vedas. And then how do you understand it, right? The way you understand is, now let us first understand what does, since Mīmāṃsā people are also believers of the Vedas, why don't you give some value to them? What did they say? What is their belief? Mīmāṃsā says the entire Amnāyasya Kriya Tattvat, they say. That means the Vedas are meant only to give you instructions on what to do and what not to do. What to do is vidhi. What not to do is nishedha. So that is the only purpose for them. According to them, one should only focus on verses in the Vedas which say, what do you call, Pashukamo yajeta, do this sacrifice. Swarga kamo yajeta, do this sacrifice. That is the only value. The other statements like Brahman is truth, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, anything related to Brahma, there is, well, what are you trying to say? It is not telling you to do anything, right? So that they have no value. They are arthavada, glorifying passages just to praise the performer, praise the ritual and something like that. So ignore them. So Mīmāṃsakas devalue there is no value for Brahman. That is their view. Okay, that is Śaṅkarācārya also understands the first Purva Paksha just like that. And Ramanuja.org also understands Purva Paksha just like that. Right? So what does Mīmāṃsaka says Upanishads and Brahma Visheka Vakya, that is anything with respect to what do you call Brahma, Atma Vaidamagra Acit, or something what do you call anything related to Brahman, whatever it says. Asti Brahmeti Ched Veda, all these verses is secondary to action. Whatever, if there, that is just some secondary information towards any kind of yajna yaga. So Brahman says, no. Brahman has its own fruit. That is, Brahman itself is the fruit, and that is obtained through devotion. So the goal of the scriptures is to decide and say Brahman is most auspicious, joy-giving, bliss-giving, and you have to go get it through bhakti. And he also refutes logicians say, yeah, I don't need shastras or Vedas or something. I can establish Brahman through logic. Look at this huge, to do a computer like this, somebody worked and made this cell phone happen. Like that, the whole universe was created by Lord. So now I know by just logic that there is a Īśvara. But what Rāmānujācārya says, that is not a sufficient understanding of Īśvara. You will not, there's a lot of you will not say that one Īśvara or two Īśvaras or 23 Īśvaras. All these things cannot know through logic. Now understand why we are talking about this. Śaṅkarācārya in the Tattva Samanvayat, in the next shloka, Samanvaya means reconciliation of all the Veda texts. What does Śaṅkara realize after reconciling all the texts? It is Nirguna Brahman. He says that finally the nature of Brahman is he does not have any gunas, no qualities whatsoever. So same verses of Vedas and all the Vedanta texts put together, Rāmānujācārya comes with a different solution. He says that the sole cause of creation, sustenance and delusion of the universe is Parabrahman. And he has infinite auspicious qualities such as omniscience, omnipotence, love, compassion, and he is free of any imperfection whatsoever. So now comes the question of how to understand this verse. What is the verse we are trying to understand? The verse of the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad. What is the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad? Yastu sarvāni bhūtāni ātmaṇi-evanupaṣyati sarveshu bhūteshu ātmanam tato na vigupsā. That was verse number 6. It's slowly now getting to the verse number 7. What is the verse number 7? I'll come to that. This is the verse number 7. Here where Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva abhut vijanataha. This is where the whole problem comes. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva abhut. In that Yasmin here is to be understood as during the time of meditation or during the time of a slightly different meaning is given by my grandfather. It doesn't matter. During the time of meditation, all beings has become Atman only. Atmaiva abhut vijanataha, for the knowledgeable person. When everything has become Atman only, tatra ko mohaha kashokaha ekatvam anupashyataha, then what is the big problem there at the time? Because there is no delusion or grief. Ekatvam anupashyataha. Śaṅkarācārya takes ekatvam as everything has become one. Then what? So for the jnani, everything has become only one thing, only one Atman. There is nothing else. Then there is no delusion. There is no fear. This is the meaning Śaṅkarācārya takes. Okay, we'll get back here slowly because we need to finish something about the previous sloka also. I will come here in a minute. Okay. Anyway, I just want to mention that Vyasa in the Brahma Sutras, one second. So we are talking about Sāmya-yoga. I'll come back to where we stopped. So you have to understand Veda Samanvaya or reconciliation. How do you do? You have to give value to Abheda Shruti, Veda Shruti, and then come up with a what do you call? Samanvaya or reconciliation. And the Samanvaya Shruti are the Antaryami Brahmanas. I'll come to that in a minute, right? And it's also known as Shodhaka Vakya, which is same as the Antaryami Brahmana. Antaryami Brahmana is, he is the indweller of everything. And that kind of meaning will come through some statements. So when the Brahma Sutras talk about Shastra Yonitvat and Tattva Samanvaya, they talk about reconciliation of all these vakyas, sentences, right? Now we try to understand the Tattva Samanvayat as according to what Ramanuja.org said and what according to Śaṅkarācārya said. Obviously, they do not agree with each other properly there. Śaṅkarācārya decides that Brahman's nature is attributeless. Rāmānujācārya decides that Brahman's nature is full of blissful, auspicious, blemishless attributes. Okay, that's okay. So here you have to understand this verse properly. Now we are going back to the Upanishad, right? What is this? 1 second. Let me come back. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati. So this person who is meditating is seeing all beings continuously. Anupashyati. He is continuously seeing in Atman. Sarva bhuteshu. Inside every being, he is seeing that Paramātma, Atma also. Tatona vigupsate. He will not feel bad. Adiji, what is your question?
Swami, when this nirguna versus saguna conversation is happening, the nirguna of Śaṅkarācārya, does that mean the guna there? Does that mean the Prakriti's gunas? The three gunas?
No. Guna could be anything, attributes. See,
so they are both talking about the same gunas, is it?
See, the thing is, see there, why don't you hold on to this question later? Because there that is a little bit complicated. I will let you know later. Gunas can be anything. It is not Prakriti guna. That you can be sure of it. It is not just the Sattva Rajas Tamo gunas. That is for sure.
Because there his
Dharma.
intention is to show it beyond all matter, right? Brahman as beyond all matter, he wants to show
Doesn't
it. That's why he
matter.
says,
Brahman as beyond matter only, right? Does it mean that matter dissolves and goes away somewhere? Matter doesn't even exist. That is the question here. If you talk about Brahman beyond matter, does matter exist or not? If matter doesn't even exist, see, that is where we are coming to those points. Hold on to it. You will understand. Your question will be answered after one or the next two classes. That means this and the next one. Okay. Otherwise, people will lose the thought. Let's come back to it. Okay. So the thing is here, anupashyati is important. That means a person is still seeing the other beings and Paramatma inside other beings, and all beings in Paramatma somehow depending on it. So this is a complex, dual kind of realization which the Īśāvāsya itself says, right? And then here again all these questions will come up. Sarva Bhuta means what? All the beings. That includes Chit and Acit. That is matter and selves. And is the matter and selves at the same level of reality as Atma? If they are at the different levels of reality, will one go away and only one remain? See, all these questions will come, and these are exactly where Śaṅkarācārya, Rāmānujācārya differ from each other. Rāmānujācārya says that there is always these three elements. What do you call Chit, Acit, and Paramātma. Rāmānujācārya says there are always three elements: Chit, Acit, and Paramātma. In any of this universe, all three has to be there. Only in the Karana Dasha they can be one. Karana is before creation, causal state. So all this will become clearer later. So let us not jump at this point. So this Lord, if you are seeing that elements are sentient and insentient beings, non-sentient and sentient, you are seeing them and also the Lord. Lord is powering them, right? So this is a synthesizing view. It's a composite substance. Truth is a composite substance. That means Brahman is always associated with Chit and Acit, associated with matter and selves. So only in the causal state, the association is unknown. Sukshma Chit Acit Vishishta is in the causal state. That is, Sukshma means it's subtle. The association between Jiva, Jada, and Paramatma, those association is unknown or unrealizable at that time. Only in the in this created universe, you see them as separate.
Can I speak now? Can I tell what I feel?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, even the Moola Prakriti has come out from Brahman only.
True.
So there is no two. Ultimately, only one stands. That is Paramatma. Even Jiva, Atma is Paramatma. And even Moola Prakriti has come out from Paramatma only.
Yes. So
there are no two or three.
So
ultimately there is only one.
See, ultimately,
in the beginning also only one.
Yeah.
In the realization, at least in the realization.
The beginning is one, but who is the realizing person at that time? In the beginning, where is the
in the beginning there is no one realizing. There is only Paramatma. From him only Moola Prakriti emanates. Everything comes out of him.
Fine.
And even Atmas are like sparks, Vispulingat, they are the reflections of Paramatma only.
True. See one thing though, here, you have to understand in relation to Īśāvāsya. Okay?
Oh,
In Īśāvāsya, Anupashyati is said. Anupashyati is present tense. He is seeing.
I know. That is Anupashyati means
state.
while going, while realizing, not at the end point, after realization. While
This
understanding, he
is
passes
only
through that
during
one by
the
one.
process of realization. Anupashyati, Anusritya Pashyati. He is continuously seeing. He is continuously realizing.
Because they are all real also in a way.
Exactly. So the thing is here, Satyasya Satyam, right? Jīvātmas are also Satya. Satyasya Satyam. Right? So the thing is, you cannot deny the Jīvātma totally. During this process of samadhi or realization here, you are, in fact, what do you call, there is no, there is still separation. There is
no denial. There is no denial.
Exactly. There is no denial there. Right? That's all it is. Okay. That is why gradations are necessary part of the process. Truth, sattva is final. That is conclusion. But the gradations, realizations will only go through gradations.
That's true.
Exactly. So this has to be understood properly. And that is where the problem of reconciliation comes. Samanvaya is nothing but reconciliation. Right? So now, so we have to understand. So how do you reconcile what my grandfather is saying, and even Vedānta says the same thing? Use the words of Īśāvāsya. Don't create your own theory. Don't spin off some other view. And what does Īśāvāsya say? Do you study the words properly? Look at this. Īśāvāsyamidam sarvam etkincha jagatyam jagatutena tyaktena pujitaham agradakasya siddhanam. This is the first verse, right? So in the first verse, there are two words, Īśāvāsya. And verses 4 and 5 are explaining the terms Īśāvāsya only. Look at that is the interconnectivity between verses of the same Īśāvāsya. When you're trying to study Īśāvāsya, focus properly on Īśāvāsya. Don't run into something else and see how it works. Īśā is explained in the fourth also. What is this Īśā explanation in the omnipotent? He is all powerful. How is that omnipotence explained? Here, anejadekam manaso javiyaha nainaddeva apnuvan purvamarshate tadhavato anyan atyeti tishtate tasmin napo matarishva dadhati. So the thing is, this shows he does not shake. It is faster than mind. It doesn't move, but it is faster than mind. Even the devas cannot reach Paramātma. They cannot understand Paramātma because it's faster than everybody. It was there before the devatas. Tad dhavato anyan atyati tishtati. It was standing in the same place, but it is faster than all the moving things. And it is holding on to everything in this universe. What do you call it? The whole universe is kept by the power of the Lord. So the thing is, that is the omnipotence. Īśā itself is explained in the third in the fourth verse. Okay. Here the 3, 1, 2, 3 is the item number. Here the verse number is 4. The next verse 5 shows how Vasyam, how is he pervaded? How has he pervaded in this universe? There is an important point you need to understand. Taddure tadvantike. Taduantike. It is far and near. Why is it far? How can it be far and near? That is impossibility. So it is not physical far or physical near. It is a personal far and a personal near. He is personal to the yogi who constantly meditates and who is a bhakta, who is a devotee. Devotion is also yoga, right? You are devoted, focused. For the person who is not focused and who is defocused and distracted by these worldly activities and material pleasures, Paramatma is not to be found. He is very far. One can spend all their lives or multiple lives in search of just desires, anger, and greed. Greed is a powerful poison, and you don't even know it exists. So the thing is, you have to get away from it and find out how near you can get to God. Tadure tadvantike. That the Vasyam is, he is accessible and inaccessible. He is omniscient. He knows everything, what is happening in your mind, what everybody is doing. Based on that, he will be close to you or he is far away from you. Both of this you need to understand. So my grandfather always is a thinker and a dhyana kind of a guy. He meditates and thinks and contemplates all the time. So he brings back all this connectivity between verses. Now, that is why he does not jump into the next verse very fast. Okay, he thinks a lot. So with this understanding, you understand the sixth verse. The sixth verse is, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati sarvabhuteshu atmanam tatona vigupsate. So that means he sees first Lord as the foundation upon which the entire universe rests. That is, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati. The second, he is seeing him as all permeating, pervading everything. That is the second verse. And he tries to understand slightly differently. What does it mean? Okay. See, seeing permeating is not just physical permeation, like how the air permeates everywhere, pervades everywhere. It's not like physical pervasion. He's influencing everything here, influencing your thoughts, influencing all activities. So the first realization is just that Lord is the base. That means that everything stands, works because of the Lord. So that promotes friendliness towards the entire universe. That means the Lord is pervading Saudi Arabia also. Lord is pervading here also. How can Saudi Arabia be different? Even Pakistan and India are two pieces of matter separated by some things, and you suddenly make a boundary and say they're different. So this fundamentally we are human beings. That kind of friendliness it promotes because we are all supported by one God. Allah is protecting Pakistan, Krishna is protecting Bharata. These things are wrong views. Okay. The second realization is seeing Lord pervading everything brings the understanding of good intentions. That means God has good intentions. Why? Everything in this universe is pervaded by him. Even the person who hates us is pervaded by the Lord. Even the worst of the people like Hitler has the same Antaryami Krishna like you and me. Then what is this? His role as a just, he is a just person. So because everything depends on him, whatever good or bad happens to each of us is actually happening with the permission of the Lord, with the permission and total supervision of that Krishna. If that is the case, you tend to become mentally complacent and say, you will understand the Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya. Say, suddenly Vedānta Deshika says Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya. Where do you find this Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya? Has anybody heard about Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya? Hello? Can you hear me?
No, I
Yes,
personally
yes, we can hear.
So, have you heard about Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya?
not me.
No.
No. See, this is the problem. This is the problem in understanding texts of Sanskrit texts are not easy because they assume that you know all these things. Supposedly, somebody sent me a textbook saying that these are the list of nyayas. There are so many nyayas, right? Subhaga Sannyasa Nyaya or something. There are so many Nyayas are rules, right? So thinking there are 1,000 rules, and you can see in a kosha or somewhere where the list of 1,000 rules are given, right? And Sthuna Nikanana Nyaya. Have you heard of this Sthuna Nikanana Nyaya?
Nope.
This I have heard, but
Yeah,
don't know
Sthuna
exactly.
Nikana Nyaya means, so, in the olden, whenever there is a big festival like a Diwali or some festival or something, they do pandal. Pandal means a pendal. Pendal is an English name actually derived from a Sanskrit or Tamil name called pandal. So or it's vice versa, I don't know. They put four sticks and like a campground, right? They put four sticks and put the sticks into the ground, right? And then they put some plastic sheet or something on the top to protect against rain and things like that. So that is a pandal. And to put the sticks into the ground, they first stick it. And once they have done it properly and put a lot of mud into it, they shake the stick to make sure it is strong, right?
Firm.
Sthuna
It is
Nikhanana
firm.
means to shake it up. So that means Sthuna Nikhanana means to shake up your concepts. Once you put the concept, they try to attack the concept and shake it. But by logic, they will protect against saying, okay, now I have strong foundation for this particular idea or something like that. So that is a Sthuna Nikhanana Nyaya. I could never find what a Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya is. I was trying to search. See, I'm just a student like you. I'm not a knowledgeable person. I don't have good Sanskrit knowledge also. I work very hard. People who don't have knowledge have to work very hard. I figured this out by looking at Uttamur Veeraraghavacharya's explanation. Okay. If you look at Uttamur Veeraraghavacharya's book, it is dense. On one shloka, he gives 10, 15 pages of explanation. So I found some people, I don't want to name them, or I don't want to, it's not the focus to tell that who told this or not. It's irrelevant, right? Some people believe if they read English books or English translations, they know everything. I have understood this very well. They are very happy. See, the English books, they don't give you complete details. For example, Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya, somewhere it mentioned in Sanskrit, hardly I can find any English book which can deal with it. It does not deal to go to the level of depth. This is where the problem is. In Sanskrit, the subjects are integrated. The Śaṅkarācārya, Champaka Mami is going through another complete class where they're going through Śaṅkarācārya as a parallel work to read Tattva-mukta Kalapa. There, ordinary people like me are not even allowed. I was kicked out of the class because you're a troublemaker. We don't want you here. So what happens is, that is a different level of class. Why am I saying this is, people should not take it for granted by reading English books that they have understood. In English books, Atma, Paramātma, they're copied out as just Atma, something. In one text, you will find one translation. In some other text, you will find some other translation. You will not find good answers in English. Coming back to the problem, what Uttamur Veeraraghavacharya says, Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya aditi. The top it says there, Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya yata sobhrityasya antarena prahare svena karyamane prahritaha भृत्यः प्रहर्तरि भृत्ये निन्दां न करोति तद्व्यापारस्य स्वाम्यायत्तत्वात् तथा सर्वभूतव्यापारस्य परमात्मा आयतत्वाग अवगमेन स्वयं तेषु अहितकार्येष्वपि न निन्दां करोति इति भावः. Sanskrit is also a little difficult to understand here. I made a simple example, translation here. It says a true servant does not resist or respond with anger when criticized or punished by another servant of the same master. He understands that his fellow servant is acting under the master's guidance, and that the master, who genuinely cares for his welfare, has permitted this correction for his spiritual growth. So this makes it very clear. That is Svatma-vibhūti-nyāya. It's so difficult to understand from the two words, Svatma-vibhūti. What is Vibhuti? What is Svatma? Some people say Vibhuti is all the followers of Shiva, put Vibhuti, and some put Nama like this. Oh, is that the Vibhuti? They will be getting confused because Sanskrit words are confusing. What really it means is, so everybody is a servant of one Lord, that is the Īśvara, Paramātma Sri Hari. And if somebody dislikes you, somebody gives you a hard time, somebody threatens you or beats you, or whatever happens in life, this is happening because of the permission of that Lord. Lord is permitting this to happen. He is actually helping me purify myself spiritually. Because of some purva karmas, I have done something wrong. God is only helping me to realize Him. This is the understanding one needs to understand, one needs to get. So it's not easy to get this. That means that the person should constantly be seeing Īśvara everywhere. Only a knowledgeable person can feel this and live like this. Is this clear? Can we go further? Understood?
Understood.
Can you repeat that mental complacency? What does that mean?
What is that? What is that?
Mental complacency.
Complacency is you are not affected. You are cool, you are calm, understanding that this kind of calmness is not easy to come. Okay, believe me, I don't get this kind of calmness. Calmness is even when hurt. See, I'm just going to give you a small example. Unfortunately, it's my personal example. Somebody gave me a wrong advice one day. Okay, I was working in a company and I had tons of stock. Let us say millions of dollars worth of stock. And somebody gave me a wrong advice and I took his advice and I lost all the money, all the millions of dollars. From $5-6 million I lost. That's a easy retirement, savings. I was not happy. I hated that guy who gave me this wrong advice. And I made a big mistake in my career. I was kicking myself every day for making this mistake. I was upset at everybody. I could not calm myself down for years. But if a yogi was there in my shoes, if I was a yogi, or if a yogi was there, the person would see this. Oh, this is the divine order of the law of God. God wanted me to lose a lot of money so that I understood spirituality, that I understand what is God, so that I understand that the world is temporal, so that I understand that money is not constant. It comes and goes. So you become complacent when you know the knowledge that everything is Īśvara controlled. Do you understand now?
Yeah, some sort of unperturbedness.
Yeah, unperturbed. The thing is, what do you call it? It's easy to say unperturbed in English and say, oh, he was unperturbed. But to become unperturbed, it's a yogi, a person who has to know this so well, and he cannot feel. He might feel temporary. I mean, for me, 15 years, I could not sleep. For a yogi, he may feel for a second, that's all. For a moment, that's all. Oh, okay. And he walks away. And everything, he's calm and he's peaceful. That is a very difficult thing to do. And what this Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad is saying is, you should get to this level. And that is explained in the verse itself. But this information is hidden in the verse. Tato na vigupsā, right? Did we read? What is that? Look at the verse 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vigupsā. He does not get disgusted with anything. He doesn't feel pleasure or pain in anything. he understands the nature of Atman everywhere, and that everything is dependent on Atman, that Īśvara. So this is what the complacency is. Na vijugupsate is complacency. So the first line is supported by statements like Atmavat Sarva Bhutani. That even the other person around me, whether sick or whether ugly or poor or what do you call mad person, doesn't matter. The person is like me, but that person seems to have a different set of karmas. I seem to have a different set of karmas. So similarity is the first idea. It leads to feeling that just as one is prompted by God in their actions, so in every action, I am not the main karta. I am not the main doer. God is pushing me in every way, helping me in every way. So others who are also being moved, propelled by God, who cause me misery, they're also propelled by God. They are prompted by God. So even the people who bring me wrong advice, misery, unfortunate events, all these things they're not doing it because of personal hatred. It's because of my karmas, and my karmas are forcing God to tell me, to say, why their karmas are bad, I need to teach this person a lesson. I will do it through somebody else. So therefore, those others are not personally responsible and should not be hated or despised. And this is what in the Bhagavad Gītā it says, Nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yassamameti pandava. Nirvairaha sarvabhuteshu. Do not hate anybody in this universe. And that is the person who will attain God. The second realization leads to the feeling that what appears to our imperfect eyes as justice and cruelty in the universe is actually the implementation of divine intentions by the Lord of Destiny, Karmadhyaksha. So karma, he is the master of all actions. He gives the rewards and punishment based on what we do. So it is not injustice. Essentially, this perceived injustice and cruelty is in reality the good intention of the Lord to emancipate the self. Emancipation means God is teaching you constantly. Don't think that this universe is the eternal for you. Understand as anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. This life is anitya, it is temporal. It comes and goes. Money, matter, wealth, beauty, health, and everything comes and goes. Anityam, asukham, that gives you only sorrow at the end. Lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Meditate on me, worship me. That's what Krishna says. And that is what Īśāvāsya is telling you in a way. That is the emancipation of self. So, the following verse is said to be definitely state that identity or triune, non-triunity in Samadhi. So the next verse is the Samadhi verse, and this becomes complex. And I think, we have already gone 9:15 now. An hour has passed. Tomorrow at the same time, we will at 8 p.m. IST, we will continue with this. Okay? Any questions so far? Is the method used is okay? The style of delivery, speed, and everything okay?
Yes, it is perfect. And I had one question, whether this is similar to the thing that is Samadarshi Bhava that you had explained a few lectures back.
What?
Samadarshi Bhava, the equanimity.
Yes, Samadarshi Bhava is Samadarshi Bhava. Yes, that is Samadarshi Bhava only, and Samadarshi Bhava improves into all these things. That means with the introduction of Īśāvāsya, the Samadarshi Bhava becomes more and more mature, and that's what happens here. Samadarshi Bhava is explained further here. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Mayankji, what's up? Mayankji, what's up?
So I have a question, not totally related to this, but where can I read more about Nyaya?
I will send you some notes. I will send you a book with Nyaya details, okay?
Yeah, because I've read Nyaya Sutras, but they don't have this
No,
these.
that is a difference. Nyaya Sutras are different from the list of Nyayas. This list of Nyayas are totally different. Okay.
Okay.
Shubhaga Bhikshuka Nyaya is there. Like that. There are so many Nyayas. They're all list of Nyaya. It's a very wonderful book. I will send that to you. Somebody sent me that. There are hundreds of Nyayas explained in simple English. I'll send that to you later. I'll put it on the group.
Okay, thank you.
Vainji, what's up?
I just wanted to ask about your use of the word complacency.
Mhm.
So, complacency is a form of ignorance. And I think a better word would be contentment, because
You can say
complacency
that.
is a negligent. It's not even the same. They're not even the same. They're two totally different words. So
Probably you're right. And maybe I used the
I'm
wrong
not
word.
trying to correct you or anything. I'm just thinking that might be.
No, no, no.
I understand. I understood what you were saying. I'm just thinking that maybe
Vainji, I
contentment.
need you to correct me.
No,
I
no,
need
no. I'm
you to
just
correct
saying
me.
it might be more, because contentment's more of a positive, that you're just accepting that this is the way it is without any feelings one way or the other, as far as, more positive probably, but you're just kind of neutral. But complacency is like negligence, when you're like if you see a red light and you say, I'm just going to ignore it and go on through it, well, that's complacency. Contentment is I'm confident that I should stop at this red light and then I'll get to go after it turns green, you know. So that's more contentment. So I don't know. It was just a thought.
You may be right. You may be right. I
And I
just
just wanted
looked
to,
at the,
I
I
wanted to make
quickly
I wanted to make a basic statement here.
no, I think you're right.
About something else. If you just let me, just real quick, I feel like the more I understand, the more I don't understand, and the more I don't understand, the more I understand. So the end of the but they all end up in the same place of that, whether I understand or don't understand, I'm totally engrossed in learning more to understand if that I understand or understand what I don't understand. So
Yeah, you're right.
does that make sense? I mean, that's kind of
Yes,
where
I
I'm at.
know. I
Rather than
know.
ask a question, I just thought I would kind of go that way, and
Very
just
good,
kind of
very
give
good.
you.
See, I made a quick check on the internet, right? It says complacency and contentment, while sometimes confused, are distinct states of mind. Contentment is a positive feeling of satisfaction with one's current situation, accompanied by a desire for continued growth and improvement, right? And complacency, on the other hand, is a self-satisfied state of mind characterized by a lack of awareness of potential problems or the need for improvement, often leading to stagnation. Okay, so what you are saying is the complacency in the second one. See, what the problem is, what that word complacency he was trying to use, not really as contentment actually. Okay, it is not contentment. It is tolerance and being neutral, or I think the word would be equanimity is a better word there. The person should be,
Acceptance.
I think the
Acceptance.
word equanimity is better there.
How about acceptance?
Acceptance also is fine.
Okay.
Acceptance of bad or good conditions, whatever, right? Acceptance of any kind of um, uh, harsh
Anything.
conditions or ill treatment
That's
or
perfect.
cruelty or whatever somebody gets into, right? So there is
That's
a, yeah, complacent is probably not the best word.
Thank you. That brings it to a different word, but that's a much better word. It's like an
Yeah.
acceptance. I'm not going to take a stand either way. I'm just going to accept that's the way it is.
Yeah, Vainji, you are born and bred in an English land, so I got to accept you. If you say something, I know you know.
Well, I knew what you meant, though. I knew what you meant. It's not it's just like when you read Sanskrit, even though I don't really understand it, although I use Google Translate and I can read it, it translated to English and get a gist of it. Uh, I still tend to understand it, even when I don't understand it.
True.
That's just God working,
Good,
and He explains it to me.
Perfect. Perfect. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions before we start?
Namaste.
I have one comment actually.
Uh-huh.
Somewhere I have read, maybe in the Brahma Sutras or somewhere I think I've read this. You should confirm, I mean, we can confirm that. It seems that we should worship Brahman as a Vishishta Vastu, not as a Avishishta Vastu. It has to be meditated like that only. For example, when you are worshipping the form as a Chidantaryami or Achidantaryami, so it is a Vishishta Vastu only we should actually meditate upon.
See, Avishishta Vastu is very difficult to meditate also, right? See, this is the first problem comes in this. See, you are actually hitting the right point, which K.S. Vardacharya always mentions. What is that? Akshara Upāsanā, right? In the Vishwarupa Adhyāya, the 11th chapter, Krishna talks about the universal form of the Lord, right? And in the 12th chapter, Arjuna asked, Evam satata yuktaye bhaktaha tvam paryupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yogavittamaha. What he says is, these people who meditate on you in this universal Vishwarupa form, are they better? Or the people who meditate akshara, that is, what is the exact English word for akshara is
Imperishable.
Imperishable, avyakta, unmanifest form. Who is better? Whether the person who meditates on the imperishable, unmanifest form, or the one who meditates like how you showed me the Vishwarupa or the universal form continuously about it. That is, these two meditators, who are better, right? That's something related to what you say.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Another thing is if we worship Bhagavan thinking that he is without the Visheshanas of Chit and Achit, that also they say is wrong. We should worship him.
I don't know exactly where that is said, so I have to check. Okay? Yeah. Perfect. All right then. Namaste. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarvagurubhyo. We'll join again at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Okay? Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarvagurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Havana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Paramastu. I thank everyone coming on a Krishna Janmashtami day. I didn't even realize. In my home, the Krishna Janmashtami comes some other day, right? In India, we have 3 different dates for Krishna Janmashtami. But most of the ISKCON people and most of Madhvacharya followers, they actually do Krishna Janmashtami today. So I didn't even realize that. I went ahead and had this. So at least we are not too far away from Krishna because we are thinking about Īśāvāsya. No big deal.
September again has a Krishnashtami. In September again we have a Krishnashtami.
Oh, you have twice. Ours is September only.
Yeah, that's Rohini Nakshatram comes in that particular Ashtami.
Yeah. Okay then, nice. We'll leave now. Okay, I'll shut off the bridge in a minute. Leave meeting.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.